Hi everyone, Matt here. In this lesson, I want to talk about a statement you've probably heard before. Music is mathematics. Now, there is definitely some truth in that. Music contains patterns, it contains ratios, it contains timing, it contains structure. And as you've probably noticed, throughout this course, I use numbers quite a lot when I teach. But I don't use numbers because music is simply mathematics. I use numbers because numbers help us see relationships, and relationships are where music starts becoming meaningful. Let me show you what I mean. If I play 1 and 5 together, most people describe this as feeling stable, strong, balanced. Now let's try a different relationship, 1 and flat 3. That immediately creates a different emotional feeling. Many people describe that sound as emotional, reflective, melancholy, or even beautiful. Now, notice something interesting. The feeling changed, but all I really changed was the relationship. And this is when numbers become useful. They help us identify these emotional relationships. The numbers themselves aren't the music, they're simply helping us describe what we're hearing. Let's look at another example. I'm going to play a simple chord progression, a 1, 4, 5, and 1. 1, 4, 5, and then back to 1. Most people can hear a sense of movement and return. There's tension, then release. Now let's move that exact same pattern to another key. I'm going to move it to the key of D. Okay, 1, 4, 5, and then back to 1. Different notes, different key. But does the emotional shape feel different? Not really. The emotional journey is remarkably similar. And that's one of the most important discoveries musicians make. The notes change, but the relationships remain. The emotional pattern remains. This is one of the reasons experienced musicians can transpose so easily. They're no longer memorizing individual notes, they're recognizing emotional structures. They're recognizing relationships. In many ways, music is like emotional geometry. Different musical relationships create different emotional shapes. Some sounds feel open, some feel dark, some feel bright, some feel tense, some feel peaceful. And over time, you start recognizing these emotional colors almost instantly. Now, this is where theory sometimes gets misunderstood. Some students become so focused on theory, they accidentally stop listening. They're busy thinking about scales, thinking about intervals, thinking about chord names, but they forget to ask, how does this actually feel? Theory is useful, very useful, but theory should support feeling. It shouldn't replace feeling because music is still vibration. It's still rhythm, it's still movement, it's still emotion. It's still human expression. The purpose of theory isn't to make music mechanical. The purpose of theory is to help us understand and communicate musical feeling more clearly. And this is why music is so fascinating. It exists in two worlds at the same time. It is structure and emotion, logic and intuition, mathematics and feeling. The deeper you go into music, the more you begin balancing both sides. Too much analysis can disconnect you from the emotional experience, and too little understanding can leave you confused about what's happening. The goal isn't choosing one side or the other. The goal is integration, understanding, and feeling working together. So, this week, as you listen to music, try a small experiment. Instead of focusing on individual notes, listen for emotional relationships. Notice the tension, notice the release, Notice the movement. Notice reoccurring emotional patterns, because music is not just information, it's not just mathematics, it's a living emotional structure. And learning to hear that structure is one of the most valuable musical skills you'll ever develop. All right, look forward to seeing you all in the next lesson.